They said assassination attempt 2, electric boogaloo. What do you want me to call it?
That's as perfect as it can get. That's as perfect as it can get.
It's assassination attempt 2, electric boogaloo. So, me and Mason are trying something new. Did you get the stream up?
Yeah, it's up and running.
What's the title for today's stream?
Good morning. We're playing with the algorithm a little bit. Have you voted for Kamala Harris yet?
Yeah, so here's the thing. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, @ChrisHandOnAir. You should.
As you should, absolutely.
I've been trying to post more reels and more content on the socials.
Yeah, we want you guys to be able to see us all the time.
So I posted one video, and it's like a mashup of the Donald Trump point video and Joe Biden putting on the Trump hat. And I didn't mention anything about any political candidate, right? And I just said, #BestFriendsForever. And that video gets like thousands upon thousands of views.
That thing blew up.
Thousands and thousands of views, which was like really cool. I posted another video from the Trump team where, do you remember a couple days ago we played the MSNBC audio? Joy Reid had a guest on, and he's like, all these Trump supporters are despicable. Well, the Trump team had taken that, and they turned it into this reel with all these photos of their supporters. And it was awesome. But my caption there was, the Trump team doesn't miss. I get there's no traction on it. And it's a far better video.
It's like not even a quarter of what the other video did.
Not even like 1/20th of what the other one did. So I realized it's because I said Trump. I said Trump in the caption. So obviously Instagram is owned by Meta, Facebook is owned by Meta, so now we're trying to tickle the algorithm. We're give it a little tickle.
Yeah, just
see if we can juice it up. So we've decided to start titling our episodes "Have You Voted for Kamala Harris?" and see if that helps.
The power of the Kamala administration.
Let's see. So if you're watching us live and you wonder why we're asking if you voted for Kamala Harris, we're just trying to tickle the algo. That's all we're trying to do. You gotta tickle the algorithm
just a little bit.
So that's what we're doing. Thank you for watching us wherever you're watching us on SuperTalk TV, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. You can listen to us wherever you go on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app. You can catch anything you miss on the podcast page on Apple, Spotify, or our own 99.7 WTN app. I think I got all the things. Find me on Twitter, True Social, and Instagram @ChrisHandOnAir. And like all the posts that Instagram won't show you. Go directly to my profile.
And share it. Throw it on your story. If you believe what we are sharing, we'd appreciate it.
Help us tickle the algo. Together, we can tickle the algorithm.
This is a real tickle fight.
This is not the tickle fight you knew you needed to be in, but it's the tickle fight that we got. All right, so yesterday I'm watching the news. This is what I do. And golly, everybody's blaming Donald Trump for his own assassination attempt. This one really blew my mind. Wolf Blitzer. He's been doing this a long time. Like, he should know better than this, but listen to Wolf Blitzer.
And it's interesting, SC, as Amisha just said, the Trump campaign is seizing on this apparent assassination attempt as a way to rile up his base.
We're seizing on on an apparent. This is the other thing they keep saying. It's an apparent assassination attempt. It's an apparent assassination attempt. It's not just an assassination attempt, right? A guy hiding in the bushes with a rifle and ceramic plates and a GoPro and an escape route plan. That's an apparent assassination attempt. It's not an actual assassination attempt, right? But the Trump campaign, they're seizing on this. They're going to try and rile up their base. We can't let them get away with it. What are you talking about? Like, the Trump team doesn't need to rile up the base. The base is very riled up. We've been riled up since the mugshot came out. We've been riled up since the indictments dropped. We've been riled up since the impeachments failed. We've been riled up for a while. The Trump team is seizing on this. They're trying to rile people up. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Acting Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe had this to say at a press conference yesterday about engaging the would-be assassin.
As former President Trump was moving through the fifth fairway across the course and out of sight of the sixth green, the agent, who was visually sweeping the area of the sixth green, saw the subject armed with what he perceived to be a rifle and immediately discharged his firearm. The subject, who did not have line of sight to the former president, fled the scene. He did not fire or get off any shots at our agent. With reports of gunfire, the former president's close protection detail immediately evacuated the president to a safe location. The protective methodologies of the Secret Service were effective yesterday. The former president's protective apparatus allowed for the early identification of the threat and led to a safe evacuation.
So that's Ronald Rowe on the apparent, if you believe leftist media, attempted assassination. But that wasn't the part of the press conference that really piqued my interest. The part of the press conferences that yesterday that happened that piqued my interest was one Sheriff Will Snyder. And Sheriff Will Snyder had a question that I think every single American has today. Is this guy, Ryan Ruth, is he part of a larger conspiracy?
About 2 miles to get all the resources in play so we could surround that vehicle and force it to a stop.
How was he driving when your deputy saw him?
How was he driving when we saw him? He was smart. He was just driving with the flow of traffic. Yeah, I think that he may have thought he got away with it. Of course, he couldn't have known that there was a witness who really did the right thing, took a picture of him, took a picture of the tag. That he may have thought he got away with it. Of course, he couldn't have known that there was a witness who really did the right thing, took a picture of him, took a picture of the tag. He was just going to drive himself back to wherever he came from.
Did he have any, to your knowledge, any ties to Martin County or the Treasure Coast?
Yeah, to my knowledge, does he have any ties to Martin County? I think the answer, to my knowledge, the answer is no. I have no knowledge.
I just want to point out how they do give credit to that individual that saw him fleeing the scene. That individual that took a picture and led law enforcement to him. Thank goodness for that woman being there. Donald Trump actually spoke about that woman as well. But I want to keep going. Sheriff Will Snyder asked the question again that we're all wondering about. Is this guy part of a larger conspiracy?
I think what we're finding out, he's not from this area, which of course raises the bigger question is, how does a guy from not here get all the way to Trump International, realize that the president, former president of the United States, is golfing and is able to get a rifle in that vicinity? I think that's the question the FBI, the Secret Service are laser focused on today. Is this guy part of a conspiracy? Is he a lone gunman? If he's a lone gunman, President Trump is that much safer because we have him. But if he's part of a conspiracy, then this whole thing really takes on a very ominous tone.
Yeah, it does take on a very ominous tone. And a lot of people wonder exactly how a guy who is recruiting soldiers to go to Ukraine doesn't know a few people, you know? He's followed on Twitter by an ex-CIA operative, which could be nothing, could absolutely be nothing. But I do like that Sheriff Will Snyder is going to ask those questions. We need to ask those questions. We can't just say it's a lone gunman, it's a lunatic. You know, the leftist mainstream media are like, hey, who knows what this guy's motive was? What? Like, that's not the route we need to go. I'm glad that we have a sheriff like Will Snyder down there who's at the very least, asking a question and looking for answers that could make us uncomfortable. You know, we need to ask these questions. Because if you listen to the other side, you listen to the left, again, they're blaming Trump's rhetoric for this, and they're saying that the motive of the shooter is unknown. Senator Chris Coons was on CNN, and Senator Chris Coons is the guy that let Joe Biden sniff his daughter and then still continued to be a campaign co-chair, even though the daughter was very uncomfortable. I'm sure you've seen the video. It's all over the internet. But Chris Coons is on CNN, and he says, it's Trump's rhetoric, and we have no idea about the motive.
We know that, frankly, rhetoric has been heated on certainly former President Trump's side, and I don't think that we can ascribe any particular motive to this. The person who's just been arrested, the person who's the alleged attempted assassin here.
We have no idea what the motive is. Listen, I know you've seen the truck of the alleged assassin, the would-be assassin, with the Biden-Harris bumper sticker on the back. I know you've seen that all over the internet. We have no idea what his motive is.
He registered as a Republican and I think voted for Donald Trump in 2016. He's gone back and forth with a variety of rantings from an unhinged person. And I don't think we can ascribe his motives in this attempted shooting in West Palm Beach to any particular view or political agenda.
Oh, yeah. How could we do that? He only has a Biden-Harris bumper sticker on his truck. He's only rabidly pro-Ukraine, right? How could we, just you and I, simpletons, if you will, prescribe any kind of motive to this individual, political or otherwise? I think this is the Democrats not wanting to take the blame. This is leftist media not wanting to take the blame, and we've seen it all day yesterday. They shift the blame to Donald Trump. Donald Trump was on a Twitter space yesterday, and he spoke about the assassination attempt, the second assassination attempt that he's had to deal with this presidential cycle.
So I was playing golf with some of my friends. It was on a Sunday morning, and very peaceful, very beautiful weather. Everything was beautiful. It was a nice place to be. And all of a sudden we heard shots being fired in the air. And I guess probably 4 or 5. And it sounded like bullets, but what do I know about that? But Secret Service knew immediately it was bullets.
This entire interview where he's talking about a second assassination attempt, the second time that they have tried to take this man out, it's hard to not chuckle because he goes, it sounded like bullets, but what would I know about bullets? What would I know? He still has a sense of humor about him as he's doing this interview, to the point where he even goes on record and says, I was kind of disappointed because I wanted to sink my last putt.
And they grabbed me, and I think probably the other one, Steve is one of the people, Steve Witkoff, a great friend of mine, a great businessman from mostly New York and Florida, great businessman, and more importantly, just a fantastic person. So we're in the group, and everybody we got into the carts and we moved along pretty good. I was with an agent, and the agent did a fantastic job. There was no question that we were off that course. I would have loved to have sank that last putt, but we decided, well, let's get out of here.
Even through all of this, even through the second attempt on this man's life, even knowing that unhinged individuals are out there and they quite literally want him dead. They want him dead. He still has a sense of humor throughout this whole thing. It's incredible to see. I don't know if I would have a sense of humor if this was the second time that a gunman had targeted me, right? Do you think you would be able to have a sense of humor through all this? Yet still this man persists, still he stands, and he's laughing about it. He's laughing. Which, I don't know, man. I just love it. I just love it.
Decided, well, let's get out of here.
He said, I wanted to sink that last putt.
I would have loved to have sank that last putt, but we decided, well, let's get out of here.
Yeah, I would have loved to sink that last putt. I mean, the guy ran away. Can we just finish? Can we finish the hole? No, sir. We got to go. We got to go. Donald Trump goes in a little bit more detail on what the Secret Service agents saw, what happened to the would-be assassin, and he even points the finger at the rhetoric from the left in this interview, which, of course, you can point the finger at the rhetoric from the left. The left, they're pointing that finger back at Donald Trump today and yesterday. I have a lot of that as well. Hang out with us. We'll play that audio next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And don't forget, 9:35, Jack Posobiec, former Navy intelligence officer, host of Human Events Daily. He's going to be joining the show to talk about this second assassination attempt on Donald Trump. It's 9:21 on Super Talk.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, No open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
Up ahead here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hope the Secret Service has their sneakers on because President Trump is on the move. Also, TikTok may be close to disappearing. Those stories coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. It's 9:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Donald Trump sitting down for another Twitter Spaces interview last night, talking about the second assassination attempt and how he was disappointed they didn't let him sink his putt.
I would have loved to have sank that last putt, but we decided, well, let's get out of here.
It's just, the guy's a national treasure. I don't care what anybody says. I just wanted to sink my last putt. But he describes what the Secret Service agents saw in the bushes and how they engaged.
And what the gunfire was actually, interestingly, was a Secret Service agent had seen a barrel of a AK-47, which is a very powerful rifle, and he started shooting at the barrel. Started shooting. It was in the bushes.
Wow!
Could only see the barrel. How good is that, right? But could only see the barrel. Based on that, he started shooting, and ran toward the target, and was shooting a lot of. I mean, those were the shots we heard. The other one never got a shot off.
No, never got a shot off. Never got a shot off. There were reports yesterday that there were some shell casings in the bushes, but the new reporting now is that no, the would-be assassin, he dropped everything and ran. He ran. He had an escape plan ready to go. And what happened to that would-be assassin?
And he ran across the street and grabbed his car, hopped into his truck or car, and amazingly, a civilian in that area saw something and it looked very suspicious.
Thank God for her.
And in the car, drove their car to the back of his truck of some kind and took pictures of the license plate, gave them to the sheriff's office. Sheriff Bradshaw is fantastic, very great sheriff for a long time. And within a fairly short period of time, they tracked him down on the highway. It was a pretty high-speed chase. And they ended up getting him. They got him. Because you wouldn't want to have somebody like that out there.
No,
you know?
no. I think that's an understatement. You wouldn't want to have a guy like that out there. Nope. No, you would not. So they got the guy. Donald Trump sitting down for an interview yesterday on Twitter Spaces, but what's happening behind the scenes? There's a lot of questions on who this individual Ryan Routh is. We're going to be talking with Jack Posobiec on the way at 9:35. Jack's a former U.S. Navy intelligence officer, host of Human Events Daily. He's got a new book coming out called Bulletproof, How a Shot Meant for Donald Trump Took Out Joe Biden. And he's going to give us the latest on what he's hearing, who this shooter was. Who was he connected to? Is he connected to anybody? I know he's been doing a lot of media interviews, and I find it very interesting that the spot that he lines up to take a shot on, to take a shot at President Trump is the same spot in the chain link fence where the media goes to take pictures of Donald Trump when he's golfing. Did somebody tell him that was a good spot? These are questions I'm going to ask Jack Posobiec on the way at 9:35. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, it's 9:30 and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Warming up quickly here. We're at 71 now. We're headed to 85 later. And watch, we still have that crash in Bellevue on Old Hickory Boulevard. It's at Summit Oaks Drive. That one involves some injuries, so it may be there for a while. In the news, don't expect Donald Trump to pare back his schedule in the wake of the latest attempt on his life. The Washington Times is reporting he'll visit swing state Michigan today for a town hall style event with Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And then tomorrow, it's on to his home state of New York for a rally at the Nassau Coliseum. He'll finish out the week in Washington, D.C., and then in North Carolina. Well, law enforcement, including the Secret Service, under fire once again after that apparent assassination attempt.
The acting director of the Secret Service admitting that his agents did not search the perimeter of the golf course, explaining that the president wasn't even really supposed to go there. The Secret Service promising the highest levels of protection for the former president. This is now the second attempt on the former president's life in just 9 weeks.
That's ABC's Rachel Scott. Do you like your TikTok? Well, you may want to prepare to live without it. ABC News legal analyst Royal Oak says it looks like a judge may side with lawmakers who think that app is a national security risk.
The ban on foreign ownership of a major social media platform was based on the chance TikTok would gather information that China could use to influence American voters and carry out espionage. It appears the court thinks Congress had a right to shut down TikTok.
3 Nashville council members reporting that their Instagram accounts were hacked. No surprise, the hackers are trying to scam followers out of money.
And most likely an application where they can fill it out, submit your social security number, that kind of thing. And so far, I'm not aware of anybody that's taken the bait.
District 12 council member Aaron Evans in an interview with News 2, experts say always be reluctant to click on links sent via social media. That's the latest news. Weather's coming up. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Kingdom Fence Company. If you need a fence, call my friend Dave, the owner of Kingdom Fence Company. You know, at Kingdom Fence Company, they want their fence to tell the story of your land. And no matter what kind of fence you need, if it's residential, commercial, farm, agriculture, they got it all for you. Chain link, privacy, vinyl, aluminum, dog fence, pool fence, and they do it effectively. They do it for you, and they put their faith in their company so that way you can put your faith in their fence. I like these guys a lot. Kingdom Fence Company, KingdomFenceCompanyLLC.com. Call them today if you need a fence. Great sponsor of the show, 615-390-5891. Call Dave at Kingdom Fence Company, 615-390-5891.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionality, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
9:39 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Excited about my next guest. He's a veteran Navy intel officer, host of Human Events Daily, New York Times bestselling author. He's got a new book coming out called Bulletproof, How a Shot Meant for Donald Trump Took Out Joe Biden. Joining us now on the Newsmaker Hotline, Jack Posobiec. Jack, thanks for taking some time, man.
Hey, Chris, how's it going? Great to be on with you, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. So I saw a tweet that you put out a few minutes ago, and it said, if Trump were losing, the assassination attempts would be unnecessary. What's the latest on the assassination attempt, and what are you hearing?
Well, of course, Chris, I would have to ask you, which assassination attempt are you talking about? Because we seem to be having another one every time we turn around. Now, of course, this latest assassination attempt down at Trump International Golf Course, West Palm Beach, involving this individual, Ryan Wesley Routh, 58 years old, originally from Florida, North Carolina, also has a residence in Hawaii, appears to be an individual who was, again, deep, as the media has been trying to downplay this, was deeply affected by mainstream media propaganda to view Trump as a dictator, to view him as a Hitlerian figure. Also someone, by the way, who seemed to be indelibly radicalized and committed to the cause of the Ukrainian war, and someone who had actually gone to Ukraine, participated in some foreign fighter activities, potentially even participated in some of the training that took place for foreign fighters over in Ukraine, has now traveled back to the United States and apparently is using some of the things, or attempted to use some of the things that he learned in Ukraine to conduct an assassination attempt / domestic terrorism event on President Trump himself.
It's crazy, though, because with all that information that you just said, we can find this information online, but the mainstream media still is telling us that, the motive is unclear. Why are they gaslighting us with that?
Well, it really is amazing. I do something where I'll just go and I'll check my local newsstand every morning, and I've been doing it for years, even since I was, a teenager, and just see all the headlines. And when Trump does something, they attack him like crazy, and then one of these guys comes out, and you will see his politics were unclear, or he had quixotic politics, or his motives were not known immediately to investigators. And it's very clear from the reasoning what's going on here. What they're doing is they're trying to shade away the possibility of left-wing violence, because the media has been so committed, and certainly even over the past week, their number one narrative has been the right-wing violence. Right-wing violence is about to happen. Springfield, Ohio, Trump and Vance are inciting violence, et cetera, inciting violence against migrants. By the way, they've been doing this to Donald Trump since he came down the escalator day one during his campaign, and they are terrified of the notion of left-wing violence actually taking off and getting traction in America, even at the same time as we have now seen 2 assassination attempts against President Trump in as many months.
So it's crazy. It's crazy. But as you're watching this and you see that the mainstream media is, they knew this guy. They've interviewed him. The New York Times had interviewed him. CBS had interviewed him. Are you wondering if anybody in the media maybe could have told him, hey, there's a spot in that fence where, that's where we take our pictures. You get a clear line of sight on him at that golf course. Or is that a bridge too far currently?
Well, look, Chris, we have to absolutely examine his communications with media. We know this is someone who is in direct comms with multiple mainstream media outlets. A lot of these journalists are now coming forward almost bragging that they had communications and text messages with this individual and high-level organizations. We're talking New York Times, we're talking CNN, we're talking CBS. They're all over the place. And so this guy had direct communication with high-level journalists. Not only would I want to see whether or not they provided him access to, as you correctly point out, by the way, a place where journalists have been known to go to take photographs of President Trump while he's golfing, but also the evidence of that GoPro, the existence. So he had this GoPro video next to 2 backpacks, and the backpacks contained ceramic tile, which were placed alongside the fence line to create a sort of makeshift body armor so that he could use for a cypress nest or a hide site, as the Army would call it, in order to protect himself should he take oncoming fire. But my other question is that GoPro. Did he reach out to anyone in media recently and say, hey, I'm going to have an exclusive video for you soon. Pay attention because you're going to be getting it from me. Did he have any communications? He clearly wanted to share this out. He clearly wanted to take a video of this. He clearly was out there trophy hunting, as Eric Prince told me yesterday on my show. That was there anyone in media that he was trying to place this story with, and did any of these journalists who had direct communication with him have any foreknowledge that this was going to take place?
Well, and then it leads to the next question, because it does seem like he had foreknowledge that this was going to take place. He was sitting in the tree line for 12 hours. They say that this was a last-minute decision. So was it a happy little accident that he was there and Donald Trump showed up to play golf, or did somebody tip him off that Trump was going to be going to play golf that day?
Look, this is a huge, huge security breach. And the idea that someone, again, with a rifle, with a scoped AK-47, could sit outside the president's golf course, where certainly the Secret Service knew that the president would be going, even if it wasn't on the official schedule, that they didn't send one drone in 12 hours. By the way, if you take a drone with basic FLIR, forward-looking infrared, or infrared, IR technology, and send it down that tree line. If you went at night, at nighttime, this guy's 98 degrees, 98.6. The Palm Beach at nighttime right now, it's still probably in the 70s. Even during the daytime, if it's in the 80s, he's going to light up. He's going to light up like a Christmas tree. So even during the night, even under the cover of foliage, one drone would easily have been able to pick up a shooter in the bushes, especially if he's in the prone position, if he's attempting to take a shot, all of these things. Or just a basic patrol driving around to see that there was a Nissan Xterra that was suspiciously parked along a random stretch of the parkway there alongside the golf course for that period of time. No, something doesn't add up here. Something clearly doesn't add up. Why was he allowed to be there for 12 hours? Why weren't basic security procedures followed? And how did he know, of course, that the president would be there on that day when it wasn't on the public schedule?
Well, President Trump in the interview last night on the Twitter Spaces, which I'm sure you heard, he praises Secret Service. He praises them running into the line of fire. But from your vantage point, is this another Secret Service failure?
Well, it's obviously a Secret Service failure. And then the question then comes down to, was it a failure of the agents who were there defending him on the golf course? No, certainly. We're told basically that President Trump was playing on the 5th hole, and so agents were sweeping ahead on the 6th green to look for potential threats, and it was one of those agents who eventually encountered and engaged this shooter. But what I would say is that it's clearly a failure of the leadership of both the Secret Service and Ryan Routh, who apparently visited Mar-a-Lago yesterday, and then, of course, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas. And we even have reporting now that Secretary Mayorkas has been the one putting pressure on the Secret Service to not comply with congressional investigators when it came to the first assassination attempt. And we're actually working on, as you mentioned, we're doing a book, Bulletproof, the assassination attempts on Donald Trump and the truth about them. And we've actually worked over the night this past, 2 nights ago here, to make sure that we could include as much information about the second attempt in Bulletproof, and it's up on Amazon and everywhere. But what we were able to find is that speaking with senators' offices like Senator Johnson, Senator Grassley, Senator Hawley, they told us to a man that the information has been completely stovepiped by the Department of Homeland Security. And so Secret Service is situated under the Department of Homeland Security, and they're clearly playing politics. And it's a strange game, by the way, where President Biden will call President Trump and say, what can I do? What can I give you extra? How can I help you? Mm-hmm. And President Trump mentioned in that Spaces as well, they said, I need more security. And then they'll go back to Mayorkas and he'll deny it.
It's just round and round we go. Did you expect when you were writing the new book, Bulletproof, that before you could even release it, you'd have another assassination attempt?
Well, I wouldn't say that I was surprised. I certainly hoped that that wouldn't be the case. But given the glaring security failures that we saw in the previous attempt with Thomas Matthew Crooks of Butler, Pennsylvania, where I visited, Trump Palm Beach, obviously I've been to many times, that it didn't seem like they were taking it seriously. It didn't seem like they had actually given him the security posture that they needed. It didn't seem like they were taking the threat seriously. And so, unfortunately, I wouldn't say that I expect one to come this quickly, but I certainly am not surprised.
We're talking with Jack Posobiec. He's got a new book coming out called Bulletproof, which you definitely need to pre-order. Jack, as you're looking at the second assassination attempt, what questions do you want answered? What red flags are you noticing immediately? And what is like your gut reaction on how this went down?
Well, look, of course, my main thing is, again, basic security posture. Just being familiar with UAV technology, drone technology from both my time in the military and also my reporting on the Ukraine-Russia war, which, by the way, this individual would have had direct knowledge of. Everybody knows Ukraine-Russia is a drone fight. It's all about drones. They are the number one threat there. So why were drones not being used? You could easily have Secret Service running drones, local law enforcement. The Trump properties, by the way, and unfortunately it looks like he's going to have to hire private security or some sort of private contractor firm of former special forces types, Eric Prince types, to go in there, actual pipe hitters to go in and protect himself. That because this was not used. I would also say one thing that I do look for, and I am starting to be worried about, is that so we've seen some tactics from the Ukraine-Russia war now come back to the United States. One of the tactics, and I've been speaking to a lot of my veteran friends, a lot of guys who are currently serving, one of the most dangerous tactics that we've seen used in that conflict easily could have been done here on the golf course. And perhaps if this individual had more technical prowess, he would have been able to accomplish it. And that is the use of the FPV drones, or these kamikaze drones. Essentially what they are is they take an IED and attach that IED, in which we all know from the global war on terror in Iraq, Afghanistan, and attach that to a commercially available drone. And those things are extremely deadly. They are hard to take down. And if you go up against a golfing party, you are probably going to take out a few people before that thing comes down. And so President Trump absolutely needs to start taking his security seriously and, of course, the security of his family. He's got a son who is going to a very high-profile school in New York City right now that everybody knows about. We're in the middle of a contentious election, less than 50 days away, and security is going to be absolute paramount.
Yeah, and I've seen those drone videos from the Ukraine-Russia war. It's absolutely horrifying to think that could be coming here. What changes with President Trump moving forward on the campaign trail following this second assassination attempt?
Well, look, I know there's been some calls for him to suspend his rallies. I know there's been calls for him to stop golfing. Just knowing President Trump the way that he's been for the last couple of years, I don't think he's ever going to stop his rallies. Certainly not at this point in his election cycle. And just knowing his golf being his safe place, his happy place, his place to get away and try to relax from the rigors of it all. It doesn't seem like golf would be something that he would stop doing. That being said, psychologically, he's going to be on that golf course, and he's always going to be thinking for the rest of his life now, what's around the next corner? What's over that next dune? What's over that next hill? What's in that tree line? Do you see anything sticking out, et cetera, et cetera? And so what changes is he going to have to do? When it comes to the rallies, I would suggest that if he's going to continue doing outdoor rallies, that he should move for doing those airport hangar rallies that he was famous for in 16 and 20, where he'd fly into the hangar and walk off the plane and then be able to speak from inside that airfield. Sometimes they were smaller. Generally, they were smaller airfields in the Rust Belt swing states because, look, that's already a hard point. So it's generally impenetrable from bullets to be able to get into this. It's very well secured. And then just having an airport, as they already exist, they have a higher security posture and a higher profile than would be any public facility. Actually, in Butler, Pennsylvania, the original plan was to hold that at the Butler Regional Airport, but there was a conflict on that day, and so they decided to deflect down to the Butler Farm Show. That was also something that was done last minute, as apparently this last minute change to the schedule was for his golfing trip. And so when we look at these situations, he's got to find places outside that are more secure for him to be able to go. And so those airfields, I think, do present the best option.
Hey, Jack, I think you nailed it, man. And I really am looking forward to your new book. You can order Bulletproof on orderbulletproof.com and get a signed copy. Are you still doing that?
We are actually, yeah. So orderbulletproof.com if folks want to get a signed copy, and just, you can go to Amazon or wherever if you want to get the regular Bulletproof copy for yourself or for your friends. I do also want to point out, though, that this book is a living document, and what I mean by that is this is the Bulletproof Project. And one thing that we've done is I've actually hired, because I don't trust the federal government on this, and as I mentioned before, the Department of Homeland Security has been stovepiping this investigation. We have hired a private investigative firm that is now operating on the ground in the western Pennsylvania area, so Bethel Park and the regions around Butler, and that investigation is ongoing. And we are now working to see if this firm has licensing or can work with firms in Florida to start conducting investigations there, and also dig into North Carolina and Hawaii for the second shooter. And so we plan for this investigation to be ongoing. So Bulletproof has actually now become the Bulletproof Project, and we are going to be pushing out new editions and new updates as this investigation continues.
But before I let you go, was there one thing that you learned while doing this investigation into Butler that made you go, "Oh my gosh, like I couldn't have imagined this in a million years"?
Well, looking at Butler, as the main thing that I would have to say is when I visited it myself, and that was the biggest oh my gosh moment, because there's something about the area there. There's something about the layout where it just seems bigger. It seems much bigger on camera and on video and on the maps and the overhead views that, and we do include all that in the book, of course. But when I was able to walk the grounds for myself and actually stand right next to the AGR building and look towards the fairgrounds where President Trump was standing, it just seems so much shorter of a distance than you get from all the videos. And it really does, and there's nothing in between. There's no, it is a direct, clear line of sight between that building and where the president was standing that day. And so the biggest oh my gosh moment was standing there for myself, realizing that this was a kill box. This was an absolute kill box, and the fact that there was no coverage on that roof specifically, which was the most deadly rooftop for a sniper to use to try to take out President Trump, really just makes, I think, everyone realize the system would be blinking red to try to understand why there was no coverage of this roof.
Well, Jack, I appreciate you coming on the show. Really looking forward to your new book, Bulletproof. You can get a signed copy at orderbulletproof.com. You can pre-order on Amazon. Jack Posobiec, where can people find you on Twitter and all of those things?
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, if you want to find me, you can always just look up, let's see, MSNBC, Media Matters, SCLC. Those guys, they did Raw Story, the Far Slate, all of your worst far left rags, because apparently they can't seem to stop talking about me.
Love it. Jack Posobiec, hey, appreciate you taking some time, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Chris. Great to be on, man.
All right, bud. Take care. It's 9:56 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Good morning. It is now 10 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We're going to hit 85 degrees this afternoon. Stick around for the forecast in a couple of moments. New this morning, body camera video showing that the moment that officers arrested the 58-year-old man who they say camped out on former President Trump's golf course for 12 hours as he planned to target Trump. That suspect appeared in court yesterday, currently facing 2 felony gun charges. Meantime, Trump's friend, fellow real estate investor and donor, was on the golf course with him on Sunday.
I saw him looking over. It was clear to me, I've been around him for so long, and we really are very good friends. It was clear to me that he was, at that moment, looking around because he knew he had friends out there, staffers who were civilians, and it was clear to me that he was just very concerned about everybody as he was being taken away.
Steve Witkoff there speaking with ABC News. He said the Secret Service's actions were exemplary. Congress may be ready to open up the money spigot for the understaffed Secret Service.
If the Secret Service is in need of more resources, we are prepared to providing it for them, possibly in the upcoming funding agreement.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, the Office of Management and Budget, has warned that without more spending, the Secret Service would have insufficient resources to sustain and enhance protective operations. A former teacher's aide at a Nashville special needs school is expected in court. Justin Henderson is accused of engaging in sexual encounters with 2 students, in both cases online.
Some of our kids aren't verbal. Some of our kids are verbal, but may not have the ability to come home and tell us when things feel off. You are handing your child over to a school, and you are vesting in them the obligation to take care of your child. And there are very few things that are scarier than that.
A mom speaking to Channel 4 there. She reports Henderson was fired from Genesis Academy back in June after working there for 5 years. And breaking news just moments ago, hundreds of wireless devices that Hezbollah operatives carry, which some describe as being pagers, have simultaneously exploded, causing mass injuries. The affected pagers were from a shipment that the group received in recent days. No comment from the Israeli Defense Ministry. That's the latest news. Weather still to come. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lock boxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
10:08 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram at Chris Hand on Air. You can listen to the show wherever you go with the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the 99.7 WTN app. If you missed something you want to share with your friends, podcasts are always on Apple and Spotify. Mason is just hustling behind the scenes. Just for the record, he's getting that podcast up with Poso.
We're working hard.
Yeah,
we're trying.
Thank you to Jack Posobiec for jumping on the show.
Absolutely. Great conversation.
Great conversation with Jack. The last time that I had seen Jack Posobiec, we were in Detroit. And so we were in Detroit. There was a Trump rally going on with Turning Point Action. And across the street, there was do you know who Nick Fuentes is?
I know the name. I'll look him.
He's like...
I'll recognize his face.
He's a guy that's super edgy and... They call him a white nationalist. I don't know what he is. I don't think he subscribes to that, but super edgy and weirdo. And he was holding his America First rally across the street. He couldn't get a venue, so it was me, Poso, and Joe Bob watching this guy just be an idiot.
Just on the sidewalk,
yeah. Like they said they canceled his venue last minute. He always tries to do his rallies on the other side of Turning Point USA's rallies.
Yeah. Quote unquote canceled.
Yeah, exactly. Also, Nick Fuentes is screaming on January 6th that we're taking over the Capitol. We're running into the Capitol. And then he surprisingly doesn't get arrested.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird how that works out?
Interesting.
It's all the people that are we're storming the Capitol, like Ray Epps and Nick Fuentes, and nothing seems to happen to them.
Yeah, it's weird how all the people shouting it from the rooftops seem to slip under the radar.
Yeah, so don't trust the Fed saying we're taking back the government is how I would go. Don't trust that. I wouldn't trust the mainstream media either. It's two sides of the same sword, right? You have the extremists on one end, and then you have the extremists who have cushy day jobs here on CNN, and the mainstream media has just been all out terrible covering this assassination attempt.
Obviously.
Thank you, KJP. Obviously. Wolf Blitzer on CNN said, Donald Trump is just trying to rile up his base with this assassination attempt.
And it's interesting, SE, as Amisha just said, the Trump campaign is seizing on this apparent assassination attempt as a way to rile up his base.
Yeah. Whoa, they're seizing on it. I will say this, though. Piers Morgan, of all people, he did a pretty good job shutting down a leftist on his show yesterday. And Piers Morgan, depending on the interview, he tends to swing both ways. But Piers Morgan, he shut down a Kamala supporter on his show. And this supporter said, the Secret Service did great this time. And Piers Morgan was like, what are you talking about?
It looks like the Secret Service got it together in ways that they very profoundly did not do the first time that he was nearly...
I don't agree with that. I think one agent got it together.
Yep.
One agent had the sharp eyes and the quick wit to deal with what was going on.
We just talked about this with Posobiec. Trump praises the Secret Service, and good on him. But there was one guy that engaged the shooter. Where was the Secret Service beforehand?
But the truth is, if you hadn't spotted the barrel of that rifle peering out of the bush, Trump would now almost certainly be dead, because the Secret Service once again had failed to properly protect the perimeter, which is the problem, which was the same problem with the rally when that kid got onto the roof.
Yep, exactly.
Well, I would call this actual protection of the perimeter. That Secret Service agent did see it. It was in a suite before the president came out.
Yeah, but Louise, the guy had been there, it turns out, for 12 hours.
I love the way Piers Morgan pushes back. And we talk with Jack Posobiec. He's like, why didn't they run a drone with infrared cameras? You could have spotted that guy way sooner. They should have drones flying all over that golf course, honestly.
They found from his cell phone, he'd literally been waiting at the number one vantage point where the media go at that golf course to photograph Trump when he plays golf, because it gives them, ironically, the cleanest shot. In fact, the only clean shot you can get at that course, apparently. That's where this guy waited for 12 hours without anyone from Secret Service doing anything to find him. notwithstanding the fact that every week he's in Florida, Trump plays on that golf course. And notwithstanding the fact that 7 weeks ago, he got shot in the head.
Yeah, honest. Just a few weeks back, he got shot in the head. Where were you guys? How could that guy be waiting there for 12 hours? How did he know to wait there? Where were the drones? There's so many questions on this that need to be answered. So many. A plethora of questions. Don't worry, though. MSNBC had Hillary Clinton on last night to get to the bottom of it. And by get to the bottom of it, I mean she blames Trump. And she blamed the media. She said Hillary Clinton on MSNBC last night, she honestly said, why doesn't the press have a consistent narrative on how dangerous Donald Trump is?
I don't understand why it's so difficult for the press to have a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is.
Have you been paying attention for the last decade? Because I think it's been a pretty consistent narrative that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. He's going to be a dictator on day one. There's going to be a bloodbath.
The late, great journalist Harry Evans, one time said that, journalists should, really try to achieve objectivity. And by that, he said, I mean, they should cover the object. Well, the object in this case is Donald Trump, his demagoguery, his danger to our country and the world. And stick with it.
Stick with it, guys. Donald Trump is a danger to our country and the world. Stick with that narrative, Hillary Clinton says from her ivory tower. He's a danger to the country and the world. The guy that started no new wars. There were no terrorist attacks under President Trump. There was a closed up border under President Trump. The Abraham Accords. He's a danger to our country and the world, she says. This woman is insane. Insane. Psychotic. I think that she's having a psychotic breakdown in front of us. Either that or she doesn't believe the lies that she's spewing. Could be one, could be both. She even went on to say that Americans who are posting misinformation should be put in prison.
And boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence.
Oh, yeah, it would be a better deterrence. Criminally charging Americans for misinformation. Mind you, it was misinformation to say that the virus leaked out of the Wuhan lab, right? Mind you, Hillary Clinton financed the Russian dossier, right? The Russia. Under her own logic, wouldn't she be in jail for misinformation? Right? This woman. I can't with this woman. I just can't. Why is she even getting interviews? Talk about Wolf Blitzer says, oh, Trump is trying to rile up his base. What do you think Hillary Clinton's trying to do with the left right now? Rile up the base. They're riling up the base. Ron DeSantis was commenting on the assassination attempt, and he's not having it. He says he doesn't trust the FBI. He doesn't trust DHS. And because of that, Florida is going to be doing their own investigation, to which I say, kudos, sir. Thank you. Because I don't think any Americans currently that are paying attention at the level we're paying attention trust the FBI and the DHS.
Well, the state of Florida is going to do our own investigation. Clearly, there were multiple violations of Florida law. We also, I think, have an interest in vindicating the truth about where this guy came from, what his motivations were. The people of our state deserve that. I don't think it's in the best interest of this country to say that agencies like the FBI and DOJ, which are trying to prosecute Trump in South Florida, they're on appeal at the 11th Circuit trying to reinstate an indictment that had been dismissed, that they're the best people to turn around and, one, give us the truth about this defendant, but also to prosecute the case where they don't have as strong of jurisdictional claims. And so we are going to be doing our investigation. I'm going to have more to say on that very shortly about what precisely we're going to do.
Yeah, and kudos again to Ron DeSantis for letting Florida take that over. I think I said DHS a second ago. He had said DOJ. But, you know, the point still remains. Do you trust the FBI and the DOJ? They're prosecuting Donald Trump in Florida. Do you trust them to do a fair investigation? DeSantis doesn't trust them, and I don't blame him for trusting them. DeSantis also describes the spot where the shooter was, which we talked about with Jack Posobiec. It's this spot in the chain link fence where all the media individuals know you can get a clean, for lack of a better word, shot with a camera to get a picture of Donald Trump golfing. This is a well-known spot. How did this guy know to go there? DeSantis said as soon as he heard what went down, he knew exactly where the shooter was.
But I would know, Jesse, I've played golf with the president when he was in office at that course. It's a great golf course. That part of the property, the 5th green, the 6th hole, and then the 7th tee, that is right there up against the fence line. So the fence line is covered with shrubbery. So if you were just walking by, you couldn't really see inside. But that is clearly the biggest point of vulnerability on that course, because if you're burrowed into those shrubs, you have a pretty clear line of sight on a number of golf holes. And so when I heard that this had happened, there were kind of conflicting reports. Maybe 2 people were shooting at each other. They said, no, this was meant for President Trump. I immediately knew exactly what part of the course it would have been in. So how did this guy get in there? How was he able to burrow in? And yeah, we're thankful that the Secret Service agent, when he saw the muzzle of the gun, fired and caused the defendant to leave. But that guy was burrowed in there, seems like, for the rest of the night. How did that happen?
Yeah, how did that happen? Well, they weren't using drones with infrared cameras, that's for sure. And I don't think it would have been very hard for them to do that. But they weren't. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. I'm grateful that DeSantis is going to be doing his own investigation. We need an investigation we trust. Because can you trust the mainstream media or the leftists in the FBI or DOJ to do it? No, of course not. Because we're a day removed, yesterday, and the Democrats were already back to attacking Trump. They were right back to the rhetoric.
I think I saw a lot of Democrats attacking Trump today. Really didn't even give this much of a thought. They're just all out with the rhetoric all over again. And look, we'll see what this guy consumed. It seems like he was a consumer of a lot of these corporate media narratives that the Democrats propagate. We'll see. I think that's what the investigation can show. But I will say this. There's a lot of people in our society who may have a screw loose. And if you're constantly telling them that American democracy is going to end if this guy gets elected president, well, somebody is going to feel that they're justified for doing this. And so I do think the apocalyptic rhetoric has increased the threats to Donald Trump. No question about it.
Yeah, and I think that's so easy. That's low-hanging fruit, of course. If this guy's a deranged lone wolf lunatic, you can absolutely point to the rhetoric from the mainstream media and leftists and say, yeah, that's why. That's why. Easy to make that argument. On the way, I'm going to get to some of your phone calls. I see Jeff, Gary, Andrew, Larry. We'll get to you guys on the way. Plus, what did Joy Reid think about the assassination attempt? It might make you angry. Spoiler alert. We'll do that next. It's 1022 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. We talk a lot about the Glock store. It's the best place to buy a Glock. Every Glock is in stock. It's the best place to learn. I have another session on Monday. Can't wait to get back there because every session is a private lesson, and we do it in private rooms, not public lanes. But there's a new push at the Glock store. It's the best place to party. And if you're going to throw a party there, can I just ask for an invite, please? Because these parties, no matter what they are going to be amazing, whether it's a birthday or retirement or corporate team building. You're going to have a great time. You'll get a VIP room with a full kitchen, dedicated shooting rooms with instructors, shooting activities designed for every level. They'll include all the ammo, and they'll even give you full auto options. Yeah, full Auto Options. This is a party that you want to throw. Call the Glock store to get started today, 615-682-6565, 615-682-6565. The Glock store, my place to shoot, everyone's place to party, minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere.
The guaranteed offer.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
Up ahead here on Super Talk 99.7, Florida's governor upstages the FBI. And just wait till you hear what the alleged shooter, Ryan Ruth, kept in his living room. Those stories at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
A couch and a TV.
You're going to be surprised.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. That's Joan Jones. News up at 10:30 at Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. I feel like a couch and a TV is a good guess. It might be the easy guess, but I'm looking forward to the newscast with Joan Jones. Jeff in Hendersonville says the Democrats are to blame. Jeff, you're next on Super Talk. Thanks for holding, man.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Democrat. I won't say Democrats. I'll say progressives.
Okay.
It's not liberals, progressives. I got on my news feed this morning, not even looking for stories, just just clearing out emails, etc. And right away, I saw 4 stories that all were outward reaching at Trump. This is Trump's fault. Trump created this with his rhetoric. MAGA Nation is responsible for this. One even said, black people are saying that, Trump staged this, and it's. I wasn't even looking for these, and it just really struck me how, it's our new normal now. It is been normalized that you try and assassinate your opponent, and you do it throughout a coordinated effort in the media, and that this is they're just kind of going along there. There's not a single. I didn't see any single opinion, and again, not that I was looking for these, but I didn't see a single story where any Democrat or somebody on the left-hand side said, hey, maybe we should tone down the rhetoric a little bit. Maybe this is, maybe this is a causative effect. And it brought me to, Obama's tenet and Harris's tenet of fundamental change in the U.S. And, man, we fundamentally changed. This is now our new normal. And there's no introspection at all. The best offense, or best defense is a good offense. Yep. At least I didn't see anything that was introspective in any way, shape, or form that way, No,
I didn't either, Jeff, and I appreciate your call, man. The closest that I heard was Pierce Morgan pushing back on the Secret Service doing a good job. That was the closest. On the flip side, you had people blaming Donald Trump for his rhetoric, and then you had Joy Reid got on the air and was like, she was like celebrating that the shooter was white.
We are learning more about what the FBI is calling an apparent assassination attempt on Donald Trump yesterday. It's the second attempt in 9 weeks, and in both cases, the individuals were not minorities, undocumented immigrants, or someone from Haiti or Venezuela. Nope, they were white guys with guns.
Oh, white guys with guns. Radical leftists who were radicalized by the media and the progressives, right? She left that part out. She left out the part where they're unhinged lunatics. But she takes a victory lap because they were white guys with guns.
They were white guys with guns.
Oh. But would they just not cover it if it was a black guy with a gun? I don't understand. Why bring race into this, Joy?
They were white guys with guns.
Oh, it's because you bring race into everything. I'll play more from Joy Reid on the flip side, plus take your calls at 615-737-9986. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey there, it's now 10:30 and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. 75 now. We'll get to about 85 sometime this afternoon. The full forecast is coming up. And yes, the FBI did take the lead in the latest assassination attempt against Donald Trump. But Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says he'll conduct his own investigation. Thank you very much.
In addition to holding the suspect accountable, the public deserves to know the truth about how this assassination came to be.
Suspect Ryan Routh was charged with 2 felony gun counts yesterday. Reporters caught up with a longtime neighbor to Ryan Routh from his time in North Carolina. They asked if the Routh family kept anything political in the house. Check this out.
No, only thing I seen, they had a horse in the house. I mean, a whole live horse in the house, but...
She said yes, a horse was in the house. The reporters need to hear it once again, too.
A whole live horse.
In the house in the outbuilding?
In the house where the living room is at. Put hay all in there, and the big old live horse. And the horse, horse.
That woman telling Fox News that they were neighbors for 18 years and described the would-be assassin as weird. Don't expect Donald Trump to pare back a schedule in the wake of the latest attempt on his life. The Washington Times reports he'll visit swing state Michigan today for a town hall-style event with Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And then tomorrow, it's on to his home state of New York for a rally at Nassau Coliseum. He'll finish out the week in Washington, D.C., and then in North Carolina. And we're just learning of what appears to be an organized attack on Hezbollah operatives. The Wall Street Journal reporting that pagers carried by hundreds of Hezbollah operatives have unexpectedly and simultaneously exploded, leaving many of them injured. That's the latest news. Weather's coming up. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Definitely wouldn't have guessed a horse. Thanks,
no.
Joan.
Yeah, you betcha.
Thank you, Joan. It's 10:32 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We are halfway through September. Your heat is going to be on before you know it. It's time to get your heating system serviced the best way, the Busy Bee way with Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And when you sign up to become a Beehive Club member, it's buy one, get one for the rest of the month. You get one, and so do the grandparents in your life. The Beehive Club membership is the best value in AC and heat maintenance. You get 3 annual tune-ups, one for your cooling, one for your heating, one for your plumbing. You get a 10% discount on all repairs, priority front-of-the-line service, a $100 annual accrued replacement credit with a maximum of $1,000, and no overtime or holiday fees. All of that for only $99. Listen, this is going to pay for itself, and you're going to get one for free for the grandparents in your life. Call Busy Bee today. They're your Rude Pro partner, 615-775-7833. Tell them you want to become a member of the Beehive Club, 615-775-7833. Online at busybeehvac.com.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
.1036 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. You can listen to the show wherever you go on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or the 99.7 WTN app. You can watch us on Super Talk TV on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And we were trying something new today with the title. We're trying to tickle the algorithm.
I just want to see if it works.
I just want to see if it works. So, I don't know. If you follow me on Instagram, maybe you've seen this, at Chris Hand on Air. I've been posting more content on Instagram. And I posted one piece of content from the Trump team They had a deranged MSNBC guest a few weeks ago on Joy Reid, or not a few weeks ago, a few days ago. And he said, Trump supporters are as despicable as him. The Trump team took that clip and then added just a zillion photos of Trump supporters, which are from every walk of life and just true Americans, right? Patriots. And it was awesome. I said, the Trump team doesn't miss. And I got no traction because it's owned by Meta. So I think I used the word Trump in the caption.
Yeah, and it completely just tanked.
So today we were like, okay, well, let's go the other way and let's see if we can tickle the algorithm, which I love saying, by the way. You have to tickle the algorithm. So I said, let's say, have you voted for Kamala Harris yet?
You have to fight the tickle fight to win the tickle war.
You have to know you're in a tickle fight before you can win the tickle war. So, what was the name of the title again?
Let me pull it back up.
Mason did this. And,
so good morning. Playing with the algorithm. Have you voted for Kamala yet?
I think I told you to write tickle the algorithm and you couldn't bring yourself to do that.
I couldn't do it. But I knew we'd talk about it. I knew we would.
So that's the title of the episode today. Tickling the algorithm. Have you voted for Kamala Harris yet? So I don't know. Maybe we'll get some more views. If it does, expect a lot more pro-Harris titles in the future.
Yeah, but no, it's not against you guys.
It's not, yeah. We're trying to fight against the machine that we're up against. I mean, and make no mistake about it, we are up against the machine. We're up against the machine. Whether it's the mainstream media or big tech, we do have an uphill battle. But, we had Jack Posobiec on earlier. He tweeted earlier today, the assassination attempts would be unnecessary if we were losing, right? The propaganda would be useless if they didn't need it. But the propaganda persists. It continues. And we're seeing it in light of the second assassination attempt on Donald J. Trump. Oh, it's his rhetoric. It's Trump's rhetoric. He brought this on himself. Oh, he brought it on himself. What kind of rhetoric do you mean? Well, a lot of people are pointing to they're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats. That's the rhetoric that almost got Donald Trump shot. Yep. That rhetoric. This rhetoric.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
That got Donald Trump. Almost got Donald Trump shot at on Sunday. That rhetoric. Now, J.D. Vance was on with Dana Bash, and I played this yesterday. But Dana Bash essentially says, "Listen, J.D., your rhetoric is causing bomb threats in Ohio."
Before Donald Trump talked about eating dogs and cats on a debate stage, it was you, Senator, who first elevated this baseless rumor. These are your constituents. So why are you putting them at risk by continuing to spread claims about Haitian immigrants, despite officials in your state saying that there's no evidence and pleading for you to stop?
Oh, yeah. You're putting them at risk, JD. All of these bomb threats in Springfield, Ohio, you're putting them at risk. Except, you know what? Actually, weird. It was just rhetoric from the left, people being at risk. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine said that all of those bomb threats, every single one were, you guessed it, hoaxes.
At least 33 separate bomb threats, each one of which has been responded to, and each one of whom has been found as a hoax.
Oh, wait. Did you miss that last part? Each of those bomb threats were found to be what?
Whom has been found as a hoax.
Oh.
So 33 threats, 33 hoax.
Okay, so that's a 100% hoax rate, right?
I will make that very, very clear. None of these had any validity at all. We know that people are very, very concerned, and we have taken some actions, and in a moment I'll let Andy Wilson go into more detail. But we've moved resources into Springfield. So I want to say to the parents in Springfield, these hoaxes, these threats have all been hoaxes. None of them have panned out.
Okay, so they've all been hoaxes. Dana Bash tried to tell J.D. Vance that he's putting people at risk with his rhetoric, yet they were hoaxes. Hoaxes. It's the rhetoric from the left that's putting people at risk. 100%. You cannot tell me otherwise. Donald Trump is at risk every single day because of the rhetoric from the left. He's a threat to democracy. He's going to be a dictator. There's going to be a bloodbath. Yada, yada, yada. That's the rhetoric that's putting people in danger. Honestly. Not the eating the dogs and eating the cats. No matter how much they want to scream it, this doesn't put anyone in danger at all.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
Nobody's in danger.
Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
No, still, nope. Nobody's in danger still.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
Is everybody okay?
I think the only thing you're putting in danger is possibly our copyright violations there on YouTube.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
Nobody's in danger, right?
Nope.
All right. Just checking. Meanwhile, the rhetoric from the left is just unhinged. We talked about it yesterday. Alexander Vindman, the Ukrainian guy who really pushed the first perfectly fine phone call hoax. His wife was on social media saying no ears were harmed, carry on with your day, Sunday after the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. They didn't even wait hours. They were already back to the rhetoric, the insane, unhinged rhetoric. Donald Trump Jr. was on Newsmax, I believe. I believe it was Newsmax. Could have been Real America's Voice. But he's asked about Vindman's wife and the left's rhetoric.
Listen, she's disgusting, just like her husband was, just a corrupt guy. That was the guy, I guess, they wanted to give the Minister of Defense of Ukraine to. I'm sure he was a very loyal patriot to America. But it doesn't just end with her. I mean, Kamala Harris, repeatedly, and I quote, Trump is a threat to our democracy and fundamental freedoms. It's on us to recognize the threat Trump possesses. Does one of us have to come out alive? Ha, 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 ha. I mean, these are Kamala Harris, Joe Biden. It's time to put a bullseye in Trump. Like, these are direct quotes. There is one existential threat. It's Donald Trump. That's another Joe Biden. Gwen Waltz, bye-bye, Donald Trump. You know, it goes on and on. There's a list. We just put it out on X.
Yeah.
All of these high-powered Democrat officials, the people that, we got to tone down the rhetoric. They're the ones doing all the rhetoric, Carl. But it's typical Democrat projection, okay? They accuse everyone else of doing the things that they're doing.
100%. And they did put out a complete list with all the receipts, the Trump campaign yesterday, an extensive list. All of the different quotes from Democratic politicians that the Trump camp stated inspired another attempt on Trump's life. The list was published yesterday following that second assassination attempt on the golf course, and they broke out every single receipt, complete with links to each quote. 39 different statements made by all of these Democratic politicians and thought leaders, from Kamala Harris to Joe Biden to Maxine Waters, saying the GOP nominee is a threat to democracy and fundamental freedoms, saying that he's an existential threat, saying that he's a dictator. The one Biden quote, it's time to put Trump in a bullseye. Like, we can go on and on and on. The Trump campaign put out an extensive list with all the receipts. The rhetoric. Oh, the rhetoric. How can you guys say they're eating dogs and cats? That's so crazy.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
Is anybody in danger? No. This is the only people in danger in Springfield, Ohio, are the ones who are dealing with the high rates of car accidents because of 20,000 Haitian migrants being dropped off in their town by the Harris-Biden regime. I wouldn't want to drive in Springfield, Ohio right now. Are you kidding me? But yeah, the Trump campaign, they dropped an extensive list on the rhetoric. It's always about the rhetoric. Gary in Greenbrier wants to talk about the Secret Service. Gary, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Yeah, this is Scoreboard Gary from Greenbrier.
What's up, Gary?
Remember we talked?
Oh, yeah, Gary. I knew as soon as I saw your name who you were, man. What's up?
All right. I spent time I was a major on active duty Army. I was at the Pope Air Force Base. I was doing some liaison stuff when Clinton came through for the Final Four ball game. So put that aside. I did learn about sanitizing an area because I was one of them, got checked. Are you going to be here tomorrow, Major? Yes, sir. I have to show my ID card. Yes. Okay. Well, you better be here tomorrow because if you're not, then we got a problem. That's how tight it was for Bill Clinton. Then, the next day, I'm there when I said I'd be. They checked me. I was the only military guy in line when Bill Clinton came through to go to the Final Four basketball game. Right there at Pope Air Force Base. I was at Flight Ops. So the regional director for Southeast Secret Service, he befriended me and says, why don't you just stay with me, Major? And, we'll talk and whatever. He told me in detail how it all works. And this is 1 years ago? So imagine the technology capability we have today, Chris, okay?
Yep.
So everybody listening to me, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tear apart any argument that they're doing their job. And also, second time around, all this rhetoric where you can't use the word fire in a theater and this stuff going around, this is a purposeful assassination attempt and organized by the very same people talking and own this government. Deep state. Here it is. 1 mile radius, that's over 5,000 feet, is the perimeter. It is the sniper range of the best snipers that ever could fire around. Okay. They have counter snipers for those snipers, the bad guys. Then they have the snipers that look at you. And the regional director told me, he says, and when you go out there, when the president comes in, you go out there, what you'll be doing is you go in line, he's going to talk to you. And Bill Clinton talked to me for like 2 minutes, didn't talk really to anybody else, knew my rank. It's very personable. I felt that aura. I liked the guy immediately, right? So I didn't vote for him, but and he's the commander-in-chief. I'm a soldier. He's my commander-in-chief. And he was so respectful for me. But the whole time going down the line, the Secret Service is saying, do not make a sudden move. Do not move abruptly, right? Okay? Basically what they're saying is just don't even do it. The reason for that, the regional director told me, is because they have snipers on a 360-degree circle providing the tightest perimeter for the president, and they're aiming at the president.
Yep. I hear you, Gary. I get it, man, and I appreciate the call, but they push back against that, and they say, well, unfortunately, Donald Trump is just a candidate. So he doesn't get the same kind of protection that the sitting president does, which I'd say Donald Trump's threat level is guaranteed higher than Joe Biden or Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris easily has more Secret Service protection than her. But we're learning more about Ryan Routh, and the FBI apparently had a tip on him being a felon in possession of a firearm in 2019. The FBI was informed about this guy for a while. This is why Ron DeSantis doesn't trust the FBI doing the investigation, right? He was on our radar.
Say the line, Bart. He was on our radar.
Yeah, every single time. It's 10:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The death toll is climbing from exploding pagers of the terrorist group Hezbollah's workers. This is happening in Lebanon. We'll get you the very latest coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that newscast, Ken, because, you came in here during the break and said, have you seen these videos? And I went down the rabbit hole. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, this is next level, dude.
So essentially, they got a message on their pager, and then the pager blew up.
That's what I'm getting. What I'm getting is that apparently a shipment of electronic devices arrived for Hezbollah workers. Hezbollah workers in Hezbollah institutions now are injured or are dead because said pagers exploded simultaneously.
I'm looking at pagers, right? Like these guys are going to their belt. They're looking down at their pager, and then boom. And, there's footage of them in the hospitals with missing fingers and blood everywhere. I don't know. If you got the stomach for it and you want to see some of these videos in real time as they're leaking, I just posted some to my Twitter page. Viewer discretion is advised at Chris Hand on air. This is next level warfare.
I don't know why it almost makes me think of like Mission Impossible or like James Bond level of like
this one guy that I saw said this is Tom Clancy style stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
The videos coming out of there are just insane. Again, if you have the stomach for it, at Chris Hand on air, you can see some of these videos that are breaking in real time as these pagers are exploding. Ken Weaver's got the latest in the newsroom. It's 11 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And right now there is a wave of exploding pagers in Lebanon and Syria now. We see that the death toll has climbed to 8. Hezbollah says at least 3 people are dead and over 1,200 people injured in Lebanon after pager devices owned by the terrorist group's workers have been exploding. A Hezbollah-owned news outlet says that a 10-year-old girl and 2 Hezbollah members are among the dead in Lebanon. Hezbollah says it doesn't know what is causing the explosions. The Lebanese Ministry of Public Health is asking all citizens who own pagers to throw them away immediately. Now, back in February, ABC News is reporting that the leader of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, had urged members to stop using mobile phones, saying, I call for dispensing with cell phone devices at this stage, which are considered a deadly agent. Right now in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis says he's appointing a statewide prosecutor to pursue charges against the man who was found with a Soviet-style rifle outside Donald Trump's golf course in West Palm Beach on Sunday. Here's Stephen Portnoy.
Federal prosecutors have so far brought 2 firearms charges against Ryan Routh. They've suggested he could also be charged with attempting to assassinate a presidential candidate. But Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says the Justice Department should stand aside.
In my judgment, it's not in the best interest of our state or our nation to have the same federal agencies that are seeking to prosecute Donald Trump leading this investigation.
DeSantis argues an attempted murder case in state court would be more straightforward and more transparent.
The U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York today unsealing an indictment charging Sean Diddy Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. The indictment alleges that between 2008 and now, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced women and others and led a racketeering conspiracy that engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice, among other crimes. Here's Aaron Katursky.
It's a 3-count federal indictment charging Diddy with racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, and transportation to engage in prostitution.
Instagram says it's taking some new steps to protect younger users. Here's Mike Dubusky.
Starting this week, Instagram users who've told the company they're under 18 will automatically be designated as a teen account.
There are an automatic set of protections for teens that try and proactively address the top concerns that we've heard from parents about teens online.
Instagram CEO Adam Mosseri tells ABC News that includes things like limiting who teen accounts can message and what sensitive content they're allowed to see.
Instagram says the new accounts are not a response to recent lawsuits filed regarding social media's role in the mental health of young people. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
.1107 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Sorry about that. I was in the producer studio with Mason showing him the videos of the pagers exploding.
It's blowing my mind on people's pockets blowing up.
It's insane.
That's
insane.
nuts.
So it's it's Hezbollah was attacked.
Yeah.
And Hezbollah fighters were attacked. Apparently they had these pagers given to them and a message went out. And simultaneously, all these pagers just exploded.
Absolutely nuts. Go to Chris's Twitter account to check those out. Holy cow.
At Chris Hand on air, only if you can stomach that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because there's pictures and images of missing fingers, because the guys go down, they look at their pager, your hand goes to it.
Typical response.
Boom. So then you're missing
and that's
some
right
digits.
on your leg, too. Like,
oh, yeah.
That's, oh, my gosh.
It's insane. But, listen. It didn't register with me at first what was happening when I was, I caught bits and pieces of it in Jones' newscast. But the pagers, it's like everything old is new again, right? So you think about your iPhone and how easily it is for somebody to listen in or hack that kind of a device. So they go backwards. And I was talking to Ken in the hallway, and I was like, I remember there was a terrorist leader who was taken out or something happened, but they essentially found out that they were using couriers, ink and paper, to deliver messages because of these hacking capabilities. So you use a pager, and then you can call from any random line, any random number, and it's that's how they're skirting around these back doors through a lot of these communications. But if you haven't seen it, and you can stomach it, at Chris Hand on Air, there's about 4 videos that I retweeted from I don't know who the guy is. It's like I think it's some Kurdish account. I just searched it. I don't know who the guy I did that posted it. So I don't know anything about that guy. But if you want to see the videos, yikes. As more information on that becomes available, we'll have it for you here all day long on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I can only imagine Murphy is going down rabbit holes right now, and Wilson will be diving down these rabbit holes as well. Pagers exploding. Some people are pointing the finger at Israel and saying this is an Israel thing, that they had something to do with this. I mean, way too early to tell, but crazy nonetheless. At Chris Hand on Air, if that's something you can stomach. That it's not for everybody, 100%. Just look for the eyeball emoji and the one word yikes, and then that's the one. That's my instant reaction. Yikes. At Chris Hand on Air, if you want to check that out. Donald Trump was on a Twitter space yesterday discussing the latest assassination attempt that he dealt with at the golf course. And through it all, Donald Trump still remains very, very positive, lighthearted even, and joking at times.
So I was playing golf with some of my friends. It was on a Sunday morning, and very peaceful, very beautiful weather. Everything was beautiful. It was a nice place to be. And all of a sudden we heard shots being fired in the air, and I guess probably 4 or 5. And it sounded like bullets, but what do I know about that? But Secret Service knew immediately it was bullets.
They knew immediately it was bullets. Donald Trump even at one point joked and said he wished that he could have finished golfing.
And they grabbed me, and I think probably the other one. Steve is one of the people, Steve Witkoff, a great friend of mine, a great businessman from mostly New York and Florida, great businessman, and more importantly, just a fantastic person. So we're in the group, and everybody we got into the carts and we moved along pretty good. I was with an agent, and the agent did a fantastic job. There was no question that we were off that course. I would have loved to have sank that last putt, but we decided, let's get out of here.
That's Donald Trump in reaction to that assassination attempt on Sunday. That's the big story here in America. The big story globally right now is pager explosions injuring 1,000, including Hezbollah members. CNN has this story, so obviously take it with a grain of salt because it is CNN. Thousands of people were injured Tuesday and at least 8 killed by exploding pagers, Lebanese officials said, with state media reporting that dozens of members of the militant group Hezbollah were among those wounded. They're saying around 2,800 people have been injured. The Lebanese health minister said the nature of the injuries is unclear. Hezbollah added on its Telegram channel that workers in various Hezbollah institutions were affected and a large number of people were injured. Again, if you haven't seen the video, I've posted some of these, it's security cam footage from individuals walking through grocery stores, and they look down at their pager, it goes off, and boom. Insane. Absolutely insane. The explosions affected several areas in Lebanon. particularly the southern suburbs of Beirut, according to Lebanon's internal security forces. State media NNA reported that hacked pager devices exploded in the towns of Ali al-Narai and Riak. I'm obviously butchering those, in Lebanon's central Bekaa Valley, resulting in a significant number of injuries. My question would be, how were they hacked to explode? How are they hacked to explode? The Israeli military, which has engaged in tit-for-tat strikes with Hezbollah since the start of the war in Gaza last October, said it would not be commenting on the incident. This is according to CNN. Hezbollah said its security apparatus had launched an investigation into the incident and stopped short of blaming any party for it. We confirm that the resistance at all levels and various units is at its highest level of readiness to defend Lebanon and its steadfast people. But, you see these videos, man. They've been circulating on social media. And it's just, you got one guy picking up fruit in the supermarket. He looks down and boom. And then you can just hear him just whining on the ground. It's insane. Insane. If you can stomach the videos, they're on my Twitter account, @ChrisHandOnAir. Our friend Raymond, who is a veteran in the Lebanon, Tennessee, not Lebanon, the country, wants to talk about the pagers. Raymond, you're up next on Super Talk. What's up, man?
How you guys doing?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm well. I do not feel sorry for them. Well, actually, it's taken out two weapons, in my opinion. You know what they did to the ladies and, everybody whenever they invaded the party. And it's taken out their midsection and it's taken out their fingers, so they can't shoot either way.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And I've seen pictures of guys missing digits. It's wild, absolutely wild.
It's crazy. I know what they're capable of, and it's sickening that we have gone this far to let them do what they're doing. It's just sickening.
Yep. And we'll probably hear the leftists in control of our government say, "Oh, that was too far, guys, too far," as they often do.
Yeah, there had to have been something in the design of the pagers, some company or something. I don't know. Maybe they had somebody on the inside to set them up to explode with a certain code or number. That's kind of weird,
Yeah, and I wonder if is it just the battery pack exploding, or was it actual explosives in the pager case?
Yeah, I'm sure you could probably set it up to where the battery would explode.
Yeah, I could imagine that. We've all seen the things where vapes explode if they get too hot, right? So, it probably wouldn't be far-fetched to just make the battery explode. But still, man, It's like everybody gets this message. They put their hand on the pager, they look down, and then boom.
Hope it ain't your trigger finger.
Yeah, honestly. Hey, appreciate the call, Raymond. Mark in Dixon also wants to talk about the pagers. Mark, you're on Super Talk. What's up, man?
Hey, Chris. I talked to you before. Our daughters have the same birthday, December the 27th.
It's a good day.
Anyway, about the pagers, my daughter's probably laughing because I told her about this. I said North Korea and China would create computer tablets and cell phones that have explosive power, and then they're going to saturate the market level to their saturation, and they detonate the lethal ion batteries by calling 1-800-DIE-YANKEE-DOG.
It's kind of scary to think about, if we're having all of our tech built in countries that don't necessarily like us, that possibility is there, right?
Yeah, who says it? They couldn't detonate it by calling a certain number,
Yeah, it's insane, man. This entire story is insane. I appreciate the call, Mark. Again, 2,800 people injured. CNN is reporting 8 dead. Apparently, there was these Hezbollah workers, as they're calling them on CNN, these workers were affected. They all have these pagers, and I guess that's how they're communicating. And they all got a message at the same time. And then boom. Craziness. I've never seen anything like it. I don't think any of us have ever seen anything like it. The National Review is reporting hundreds of Hezbollah members injured in mass explosion of pagers. They have the same numbers as CNN. 8 people killed, 2,800 injured. Tuesday during the mass explosion of pagers belonging to members of Hezbollah. Whew. a mass explosion of pagers. Things that you didn't expect to hear in 2024. Exploding pagers injuring hundreds of Hezbollah members. Wild. Again, if you haven't seen the videos, they're on my Twitter page at Chris Hand on Air. And just go to my profile, and it's right there at the top. The sound, though. I mean, that guy's just grabbing fruit from the grocery store. There's another guy who's checking out at a counter in a what looked like a convenience store, and the pager explodes, and I mean, he just drops. Head bounces off the counter. It's insane how quickly, too, at the same time while we're watching this, and you're thinking like, wow, pagers, that's like so old school. But it's also insane how quickly the video is just traveling around the world and where we are technology-wise. And we're talking about pagers. This story is going to be a massive, massive story. And I'm sure that it's going to have a lot of ramifications moving forward. Who did it? A lot of people will say it was probably Israel. Okay, maybe. I don't know. I think it might be too early to tell. But they're not pointing the finger at anybody just yet, but they will be looking for answers. That is guaranteed. This is not the last time you've heard of exploding pagers in Lebanon. Might be the first time you've heard of it. It's not going to be the last time you've heard of it. And this is absolutely is this changing warfare, but right before our eyes? I feel like we're watching warfare change before our own eyes. At Chris Hand on Air, if you want to see the videos on the way. I do want to get back to stateside, if you will. Hillary Clinton wants the press to go a little bit harder on Donald Trump. Joy Reid taking a victory lap because the would-be assassin was a white guy. And what does J.D. Vance have to say about all this? We'll do that next. It's 11:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We got a great new sponsor here on the Chris Hand Show, and I'm excited to tell you about my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. Listen, we got open enrollment coming up for health insurance, and if you're paying for your own health insurance or if you're looking for coverage, don't go online looking for quotes. I mean, you're just going to get endless calls from call centers calling you back. They're not going to stop. Instead, call my friend Shane Ring. He's an expert with over 20 years of experience, and he can provide sound advice for your health insurance needs. Whether you own a business or you're self-employed, whatever it may be, Shane can help you. And if you qualify, he'll let you pick your own doctor. And these plans, if you qualify, are 30 to 60% lower in cost than Obamacare. And some of these monthly premiums are independent of your income, so there will be no surprise tax bills. If you pay for your own health insurance, own a small business, if you're uninsured, if you're on COBRA, or if your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Shane Ring today, 615-465-0023, 615-465-0023, or you can always hit up the website, covernash.com. That's covernash.com. It's time for you to get a quality health insurance plan managed by you, not the government, covernash.com.
I-24 in Clarksville. You got stop-and-go traffic there, 24 eastbound between MLK Parkway and Maxey Road. That is a 28-minute delay. And the death toll is climbing from pagers exploding in Lebanon. And it appears that it is Hezbollah terrorist fighters who are among the dead. Details at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken. It's 11:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm seeing that the Saudi-owned Al Hadath news channel is reporting that senior Hezbollah leaders and their advisors are among the injured in the mysterious explosions involving hundreds of pagers in Lebanon afternoon where they are. Unreal. Lebanese hospitals are currently overwhelmed. Hundreds upon hundreds of Hezbollah terrorists arrived with critical injuries. And a lot of people are pointing the finger at Israel, though I haven't seen anybody officially point the finger at Israel. But man, this is insane. It's insane. I got a message on Twitter from one of my followers that I see this as a great thing. If Israel is behind this, bravo. What a brilliant thing to do. It directly affected only those with pagers. Lessens the fighters' numbers and the casualties. Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, talk about a targeted attack. Targeted for the people that have the pagers. Now, I think the question would be, were the pagers loaded with explosives, or was it the batteries exploding? Edward Snowden, of all people, weighed in on Twitter. And he said, as information comes in about the exploding Beavers in Lebanon, it seems now more likely than not to be implanted explosives, not a hack. He says, why? Too many consistent, very serious injuries. If it were overheated batteries exploding, you'd expect many more small fires and misfires. Interesting. I don't know if you've seen the videos at Chris Hand on Air if you haven't. But this is one of the wildest things. It's totally thrown me off my game. I'm going down rabbit holes right now of these videos of pagers exploding. It's wild. Absolutely wild. Pagers exploding in Lebanon. Wild. Meanwhile, in the States, the big story is the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. The second assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Now, many in the left-wing media, they've gone to pointing the finger at Donald Trump for Donald Trump's rhetoric. You know, you got Hillary Clinton out there. Oh, we need a more consistent narrative on how dangerous Donald Trump is. You got Wolf Blitzer saying, ooh, they're trying to rile up their base. They're trying to rile up their base because of this assassination attempt. It seems a bit of a joke. But there was one former, would you call him a former leftist media member, Chris Cuomo? He still leans that way to a certain extent. But he responded to the assassination attempt in a different way than a lot of the leftists in the mainstream media.
I don't get it. That's why I reached out to Trump. I wanted to just say, listen, I'm really sorry that this is going on and it's being dealt with this way. Not because I'm in favor of his politics or what he says. I criticize him all the time. That's my job, and he deserves it. But he doesn't deserve this. A guy pointing an AK-47 at him while he's playing golf? And we take solace in the fact that the guy didn't get any rounds off. If I had been through what that guy's been through in the last 2 months, you would not know where I am. You would never see me on TV again. No way I would do that. I don't know how he does it. He's got kids, they're adults, but he's got grandkids. He's got a wife. People giving crap to Melania Trump, worrying about whether or not there was a plot around his husband. How could she not? People mock her. And then her husband has a guy pointed with an AK-47. Where are those people apologizing? That's what it's time for. We are playing a dangerous game with ourselves. He is not a despot in waiting. Okay? I don't buy it. You gotta care when somebody tries to kill somebody. I've told you this before, and I've learned the lesson so many times myself around the world. Either you care when anyone is hurt, or you'll never really care about anyone being hurt.
That was Chris Cuomo's response to the assassination attempt. Far different than what you're seeing on CNN and MSNBC. In fact, we've been watching CNN all morning. It's been on in the newsroom, and they've actually been talking a lot more about Diddy than they have been about Donald Trump. Convenient enough, right? They're going to memory hole this one like they did the last one. Don't let them. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And again, traffic issues in Clarksville. This is going to be 24 eastbound. It is stop and go traffic between MLK Parkway and Maxey Road. That's about a 17-minute delay. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. The Lebanese Ministry of Public Health says at least 8 people are dead, 2,700 more injured after a number of pagers exploded. Hezbollah says the cause of the blast is still unknown, but the pagers were owned by several of its workers in various Hezbollah units. Tom Sufi Burridge is in Paris and has more.
Lebanon's health ministry saying hundreds of people have been injured in what appears to be a coordinated and very sophisticated attack across Lebanon in multiple regions. Lebanese officials are saying that pagers, they are devices that can just receive messages, remember, have exploded.
Iran's ambassador to Lebanon was among those injured in Beirut. Lebanon's Ministry of Health urging citizens who possess pagers to discard them, warned hospitals to be on high alert. The Israeli military, which has engaged in tit-for-tat strikes with Hezbollah since the start of the war in Gaza last October, said it would not be commenting on this incident. Right now in Florida, Republican Governor Ron DeSantis says federal prosecutors should stand aside in the investigation of the man with a Russian-style assault rifle, which the FBI labels as an apparent second assassination attempt on former President Trump.
I'm signing an executive order assigning the case involving the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump to the Office of Statewide Prosecutor under the supervision of Attorney General Ashley Moody. The suspect, Ryan Ralph, is believed to have committed state law violations across multiple judicial circuits in the state.
Now, DeSantis argues the Justice Department has a conflict of interest because it's now prosecuting Trump. He says Ralph should face attempted murder charges in his state court. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Matt Murphy for Members Nutrition. I want to tell you about the Members Nutrition difference, and I want to encourage you to go over to the Members Nutrition website. Number one, they believe at Members Nutrition that they can sell vitamins and supplements at a lower cost point, and they're doing it every single day at membersnutrition.com. Number two, they want to make these products right here in the United States of America, not from some overseas company, and they do that every single day. I encourage you to go to membersnutrition.com. You'll get 50% off your purchase price at checkout. You don't have to put in any codes. Just go to membersnutrition.com. Once again, membersnutrition.com.
It's 11:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. You can find me on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, at Chris Hand on Air. If you haven't seen the videos of the pagers exploding in Lebanon, taking out Hezbollah terrorists, at Chris Hand on Air. Not if, don't watch it if you have a weak stomach. Just full disclosure. But that's what I've been doing during the commercial break. What have you been doing?
Avoiding flying fingers.
I mean, unbelievable. The breaking news, Hezbollah pager explosion kills several in Lebanon. About at least 8 people were killed. 2,800 others, including Hezbollah fighters, medics, and Iran's envoy to Beirut, were wounded when the pagers they used to communicate exploded across Lebanon. At the same time, all of these pagers exploded. Lebanon's information minister, Zaid Makari, said the government condemned the detonation of the pagers as an Israeli aggression. Hezbollah also blamed Israel for the pager blasts and said it would receive its fair punishment. This is from Reuters. The Israeli military declined to comment on Reuters' inquiries about the detonations. But a Hezbollah official speaking on the condition of anonymity said the detonation of the pagers was the biggest security breach the group had been subjected to in nearly a year of conflict with Israel. Israel and the Iran-backed Hezbollah, as you know, have been engaged in cross-border warfare since the Gaza war erupted last October. This is a wild escalation, if it is in fact Israel. And I mean, we're speculating here, right? But one would believe that Israel would have something to do with this, right? But if they do, I mean, this is a targeted attack of Hezbollah terrorists, workers, as they put it. You know, it's like when they say workers, it's like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden saying newcomers. It's like, okay, yeah, got it. But Hezbollah confirmed in a statement the deaths of at least 3 people, including 2 of its fighters. The third person killed was a girl. It said that an investigation was being conducted into the causes of the blast. Hezbollah chief Saeed Hassan Nasrallah was not hurt in the explosions, the group said, and the wave of explosions lasted an hour after the initial detonations, which took place at 3:45 p.m. local time. It was not immediately clear how the devices were detonated. The Lebanese foreign minister described the explosions as a dangerous and deliberate Israeli escalation, which it said had been accompanied by Israeli threats to expand the war towards Lebanon on a large scale. Lebanese internal security forces said a number of wireless communication devices were detonated across Lebanon, especially in Beirut's southern suburbs, a Hezbollah stronghold. The pagers that detonated were the latest model brought in by Hezbollah in recent months, 3 security sources said. So these pagers they're new. It's the new model. And they were brought in recent months. Okay. Think about the planning that has to go into that. Not only do you have to, what appears to be load up pagers with explosives, but you also have to get them to accept the pagers and then adopt the pagers and then use these pagers. Insane. Lebanese Health Minister Firas Abaid said about 2,800 people had been wounded in the explosions, 200 of them critically. Many of those hurt included Hezbollah fighters. You say fighters, I say terrorists, who are the sons of top officials from the armed group, 2 security sources told Reuters. One of the fighters killed was the son of a Hezbollah member of the Lebanese parliament, Ali Amar, they said. Iran's ambassador to Lebanon, Mojtaba Amani, suffered a superficial injury in a pager explosion, is currently under observation in a hospital, Iran's semi-official Fars news agency said. Reuters could not immediately confirm that report. Again, if you haven't seen these videos, you can go over to my Twitter page, at Chris Hand on Air. If you got a strong enough stomach, this is a video that you want to see today, at Chris Hand on Air. Crazy moments. I mean, there's this one guy, he's just shopping. He's just shopping at a grocery store, it looks like. picking up fruit, and then boom. I mean, it's so the pager's like clipped right to his belt, and you see the explosion, then you hear the explosion, and he just doubles over on the ground. And there's a lot of people around him, I want to point out. I mean, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people within close vicinity to this individual. None of them harmed. None of them harmed. So if this is an Israeli attack, this is as targeted as one can be. I mean, there was one guy standing 3 feet from him. 3 feet from him, not injured by the explosion. Insanity. The rumors are that Israeli intelligence sent a message to the pagers, which then caused them to explode. There's some discrepancy, though, on whether or not it shorted the batteries of the pagers, causing the batteries to explode, or if there were explosives packed into the pagers. Edward Snowden weighed in on Twitter, and he said it couldn't have been the batteries because there were no misfires, there were no small fires accompanying this. You would have noticed if your battery overheated to the point of explosion. There's other individuals out there saying that no, it was the batteries. It's all speculation right now. All we really have to go off of is the video, and the video is just wild. But I'll tell you what, there's 10 to 12 people standing around this guy when his pager explodes in the grocery store, and even the guy 3 feet away from him was not injured. Unbelievable footage coming out of Lebanon. At Chris Hand on Air, if you want to see the videos, if you have the stomach for it. Lebanon's Crisis Operations Center, which is run by the health ministry, has asked all medical workers to head to their respective hospitals to help cope with the massive numbers of wounded coming in for urgent care. It said healthcare workers should not use pagers. Everybody's leaving their pagers at home, it appears, moving forward in Lebanon. Wild story, guys. Wild. Again, no word from the Israeli government on the explosions. No word. Not yet. Insanity. I wonder if Murphy has to have seen this, right? You would imagine Murphy's seen this. Murphy is, he's as far as the Middle East goes, I listen to Murphy all the time. He always has good insight on this stuff. I'm looking forward to his take. And if he hasn't seen it yet, I'm looking forward to showing him when he gets in here at about 10 minutes, because this is a crazy story, and the news is just coming out about it. 2,800 people injured, 8 dead. Hezbollah fighters targeted. You say fighters, I say terrorists. It depends on which news outlet you're looking at. CNN's reporting this. Reuters is reporting it. Fox News has a story. Hezbollah apparently targeted as hundreds of pagers detonate, deaths and injuries reported. It's all, I mean, this is unraveling in real time. What time is it right now in Lebanon? Find out what time it is in Beirut for me, Mason.
I think it's late afternoon or early evening, Brother Chris. I'm not for sure. But
so this is like 3 hours ago, right?
I believe so.
Crazy. So, I mean, we're going to be, this is going to be one of the biggest stories in the world, I would imagine. And this is coming right as we have heightened tensions between Lebanon and Israel. The Lebanese militant group Hezbollah and Israel, they've been clashing for what, 11 months now?
Yeah.
This is a targeted attack on Hezbollah terrorists. As targeted as one can be. Again, if you look at my Twitter page at Chris Hand on Air, there's one video of it's like a Kurdish guy that I reposted his. He had like 4 videos. I don't really agree with what he says. I think he's speculating on whether it was Israeli intelligence sending a message to the pagers, causing batteries to shorten. Like he's obviously speculating, but the guy in the grocery store is the video you need to look at. Because there's 12, 15 people around him. He is the only one injured. I mean, that's as targeted can be.
I got the time. It's 7:46 p.m.
Okay, so it's been 4 hours since this attack went down. It happened at 3:45 local time in Lebanon. 3:45 local time. It's been 4 hours. So it happened at what? 7:45 our time?
Yeah.
Crazy, man. Absolute insanity.
Yeah, they're about 8 hours ahead of us.
I mean, the speculation is going to be flying. It's going to be flying. The Lebanese Red Cross said more than 50 ambulances and 300 emergency medical staff were dispatched to help the victims, and it's just chaos right now. I could imagine. I could imagine it's just chaos all around. And if I was in that area, even if I wasn't a Hezbollah fighter, I probably would get rid of my pager. I would get rid of my pager. Murphy's on his way in here. We're going to talk to Murphy, see if he's seen this footage, his instant reaction to this footage, and to see what he's got coming up on the Murphy Show today. We got a lot more Super Talk to get into, clearly. This is one of the biggest stories, this targeted detonation of pagers in Lebanon for Hezbollah terrorists. Insane. Stateside, we're still reeling from an attempted assassination of President Trump, the second attempted assassination of President Trump. Matt Murphy's in, and then Brian Wilson after him. We'll have instant analysis and reaction all day long right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and I am so glad that California Closets has fixed my closet catastrophe. After exact measuring and planning, they came over and got to work. Yeah, once it was all plotted out on their 3D CAD system, the pieces are measured, cut, and precisely installed into my space. It was clean, fast, and professional, and above all, my new closets look and function great. Now, this was my dormer, and now this is my new dormer thanks to California Closets. Look at all of this added space for shirts and shoes, you name it, and it is cut so precisely, simply amazing. And my old closet that has now been reborn as the ultimate in style and functionability, making the best use of the space that I had. They can work on just about anything: bedrooms, garages, home offices, closets, pantries, and so much more. Find them online, CaliforniaClosets.com, and see what they can do for you. You can schedule a free design consultation. Mention my name, CaliforniaClosets.com.
11:55 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Matt Murphy's in studio. Matt, when's the last time you thought about pagers?
You know, it's funny you should ask. Stand by. Had to get plugged in there. It's funny you should ask. 1998, maybe?
I've never owned a pager.
Had myself, well, of course you haven't. Oh, man, it was the height of technology back in the mid-1990s. Come on, man. Anybody who was anybody had a pager. But I soon learned how awful pagers were. Because I'm in Augusta, Georgia, single man, doing nights on US 107, country music station over there, 7 to midnight.
What was the tagline?
No, it was just US 107. That was it. It was US 107 and it was an interstate sign.
All right.
I almost said WTHO was your better country FM.
Oh, I like that.
But they named me Captain Ray Brooks for some reason. Because that's what they do in music radio. Anyway, so I had the old pager and I was dating this girl named Lydia. And Lydia constantly was giving me the 911. You see, you don't understand this. People that lived through the pager era, that you would get a page and you would just have a number, and then there were extra spaces for little extra numbers. And so people would put 911, like, hey, you really need to call me back. This is an emergency. People constantly abuse the 911. Flash forward to today, 2024, when all of these people really did get the 911.
But
boom!
Dude, you've seen the videos, right?
It's insane. So this has to be a coordinated effort by which someone inside of some organization, one would assume Israeli, figured out where they were getting their pagers from, well, I guess you back it up even further. How is this terrorist organization communicating?
Yep.
Where are they getting their communication devices from? Can we infiltrate that communication device facility? Because this can't be just batteries, can it?
No. I mean, well, Edward Snowden weighed in online and you know, whatever you think about him. But he said, if it's a battery overheating, you're going to see misfires and small fires. I didn't see any of that in the video.
I would think you would see, I don't know, you would see people recognize that their pager was getting hot or even smoking prior to explosion. This seems like that there have been small amounts of explosive material put inside the pager, and then it got sent a particular code, and boom.
Yeah, 911.
Lydia's calling. Got to call her back.
Who the heck is Lydia?
Oh, my goodness gracious. Incredible story, though. Incredible in the sense that who knew that there was an ability to do this? I mean, I guess maybe we should have known that there was an ability to do this. And here's what I would warn our listening audience. If they can do that with pagers.
I said the exact same thing. Think about where our phones are being made. Are they being made in friendly countries?
No. I mean, everyone gets so out of sorts about TikTok, and I can understand why. I mean, it's not the app itself, although I think that's probably the worst of it, because the app itself is going to rot your mind.
It's the algorithm.
Right, and it's all of the algorithms. But the suggestion was that the government needed to get involved because they were also data mining. This in and of itself is a data mine device.
Yep.
And I do not do anything on my phone that I do not expect the Red Chinese will be able to look at. Because they made it.
Yeah.
And they're bad people. But this feels like good people. I don't know. I mean, if you tell me that it was a targeted attack against individuals who are members of Hezbollah. Hezbollah is a terrorist organization. Hezbollah kills women and children. I'm fine with that.
Oh, and it appears to be very targeted. I mean, there was the grocery store one. There's a guy as close as we are, and he blows up, but the guy standing next to him is unscathed. It's crazy.
Lydia must want you to get home. Lydia 911.
Yeah, unreal.
I'm sorry for that accent. I apologize.
You're doing the Kamala Harris accent.
I don't know. I'm doing the Kamala deal.
Just depending on the audience.
Depending on the audience. That's my Middle Eastern accent.
That's the Middle Eastern.
That's
Lydia's
it.
calling.
I basically channel Abu from The Simpsons when Abu used to be on The Simpsons.
He's not allowed to anymore because it hurts feelings.
That's exactly right. We're going to hurt feelings today on the show. Tim Burchett on the show today at 1 o'clock.
All right.
And Senator Tommy Tuberville at 2:40. They called me, said they had a big announcement, and they wanted to get it all across the state of Tennessee, so they're doing that on Super Talk.
And he called you to tell you that?
Yeah.
He didn't page you.
No page. No paging.
Murphy's in next. It's 12 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.